Alright, hey guys, it's Jay, aka That's So Jay, and I am back with another SLPA video. This is a video, of course, talking about my career as a contracted speech pathologist assistant. So, as you guys know, I did work as a contracted SLPA. So I worked as a speech pathologist assistant, and I was a traveling SLPA. I know a lot of people were like, wait, you lived in Washington State and next thing you know you lived in Massachusetts. So I was working for a contracted company, and I'm gonna put the information below in the description box of the company I worked for if you guys are also interested in working for that company. Yeah, let them know that Jay sent you. So yeah, I was pretty much working as a contracted SLPA, and I got this job pretty much just applying. When I first applied for the job, I just thought, okay, this is a SLPA position. I honestly did not realize it was in Washington State until they emailed me, and I just, did the phone interview and was just like, okay, probably not gonna get the job. And when they called me and said, you got the job, you gotta move all the way to Seattle from New Jersey, I was like, no. I literally called them and was like, oh, thanks for the offer, but no. And my dad literally yelled at me and was just like, why would you miss out on something like that? You were complaining you can't find nothing in your field, and you get this amazing opportunity and tell them no. And I literally had to sit down and weigh out the pros and cons on why I would not go and why I should go. And of course, the pros won, and I was like, you know what, I'm going. So this video is also to say, don't be afraid to move for a job, especially if it's an amazing opportunity. I was in a situation that I knew nobody out there. I was on the other side of the country. It was definitely really hard, really challenging, but I have had so many benefits of being out there that it's just been an amazing experience that I ended up getting another contract, and I was 5 hours away from my hometown. So that worked out really well. Okay, so some of the pros that I would definitely say about working as a contracted traveling SLPA is definitely the connections. I met so many people. I received recommendation letters every single time at the end of my contract from the speech pathologist that I was working under. And it was just an amazing experience, because that's one thing definitely when you're applying to graduate schools, you're always going to need recommendation letters, and professional ones are just as good as getting ones from your professors. They'll usually ask for both. But so I would definitely say, getting in good with the speech pathologist that I worked under, and they were able to also just help me, because I was new. I had never, this was my first time in the field. This contract was my first time working as an SLPA. I had no SLPA experience, so they were very helpful to me throughout the school year. So I was glad when I was like, can you please write me a recommendation letter? They were like, oh, of course. So I would definitely say, getting that opportunity to work right under the person that's in the career that you hope to be in one day is always going to be beneficial to any field. You want to be able to make those connections with those people, because not only will they be able to write you recommendation letters, they will also be able to help you get jobs in the future. Once you have the degree or whatever the qualifications are, they'll be able to say, hey, I'm gonna, you can use me as a reference. I'm gonna help you get in with this school that you want to get into, or wherever you want to work, and they're already working there. It's very helpful because they can kind of always put in that good word for you. Another pro about working as a contracted SLPA is definitely the money. I would say that it pays very well. Even when you go under a contract, instead of just working directly for the school district, you will get paid probably about twice as much. So the way that the contract kind of breaks down is you will get paid for your housing, you will get a weekly stipend, plus your regular hourly rate that you would just get as an SLPA, which they usually make it a little bit less because they know you're getting the other stipends on top of that, and all of that will go directly into your check. So it's not your housing, they're paying directly through your rent, to your landlord. It's no, they give it to you. So that's also very beneficial. You're getting a lot of stipends mixed in with your check. So your hourly rate turns out pretty good. I'm not gonna say the exact amount, but I will definitely say that I was very well off while I was in these different states and living in a very nice apartment. If you guys watched my last like SLPA vlog. Another advice when you are signing off to be a contractor, to work as a contracted SLPA, I would definitely say have someone look over your contract. So like I said, when I first got my first contract to go to Washington State to work as an SLPA, I had my dad look over my contract. I sent it to my professors back at my university that all worked as SLPs. One of my mentors said, you know, she did the same thing when she was fresh out of undergrad, but she ended up not taking the contract. Well, she had the same opportunity, so she explained why. So I would definitely say, like, before you're signing off to go move somewhere, to take on this job, make sure you know it's worth it. They are, you know, giving you the right money, they're giving you good hours, you're going to be full-time. So make sure you just look over all those things before signing off and picking up and leaving. So a great thing about working, and this is kind of like, I would say, the traveling part, is getting to work with so many different students. So when I was on the West Coast, I worked with a lot of immigrant students, and these were like just got to America, like parents spoke no English, students had like a little bit of English. So at first it was definitely very challenging for me because I told them like, hey, I'm not fluent in Spanish, like I know enough but I was not going to be able to. So it was definitely hard to teaching, like, you know, speech and language skills. And a lot of these kids, like, you know, had a lot of articulation errors and things. And it wasn't so much because like they have a speech delay or a developmental delay, just because they're in a new country learning a new language. So that was very like a unique challenge for me, and I was like really like scared at first, but I learned a lot from working with that. And even when I was in Massachusetts, I had kind of like, you know, the same problem. I wasn't very fluent in Spanish, but I had a lot of like multicultural like students. So I would definitely say it definitely allowed me to like broaden my horizons. It taught me how to work with all types of students from all different backgrounds, which I feel like is very beneficial when you want to become a speech pathologist, because it is a very diverse field. You're gonna get clients and students from all over, and you should be able to, you know, be able to understand their cultures, be able to work with them. It's kind of like, you know, when you're a teacher, you should be able to work with any student from any background. So I would say I definitely benefited a lot from that, and was like, you know, at first, like I said, it was a challenge, but after learning, you know, how to work with these kind of students and how to, you know, do games and activities that they could relate to, that I could help them say, all right, we're going to learn this or talk about this, and they enjoyed it, and I was able to connect very well with them. So a con about working as a contractor is definitely just like moving. I would definitely say moving was really hard, like finding somewhere to live, just leaving my family. It was like a really difficult thing, but that's also kind of like a pro and a con. Like, it's good to travel and like experience new cities, new states, but sometimes it can also just be like pretty challenging, like starting over, meeting people, knowing like what neighborhoods are safe. Like, I personally did a lot of research. I watched like so many YouTube videos. I reached out to people like through Instagram that I saw like lived in that city or lived in that area. This could be very hard if you're not a very sociable person, like if you don't know how to make friends, and you're not like, you know, I'm the person where I can go up to somebody and be like, hey, I'm Jay, I'm new to the area, like, you know, what's there to do around here? Like, if you're not like that, it can be kind of challenging, you know. But when I was just like walking around like the schools as like a new face, a lot of teachers and things would just come up to me and be like, hey, you know, where are you from? Like, so I was able to make friends pretty much no matter what state I was in. So that's me. I talk to anybody really. Definitely another pro, I know I'm kind of hopping all over the place, guys, I'm sorry, but a pro of being a contractor SLPA is it looks so good on your resume. So this is kind of ties up after everything I said, like the recommendation letters, making the connections, getting the experience of working with people from all over the country, different students, different backgrounds. All of that looks good on your resume. Like, you really can you know how they say kind of like spice up your resume, like, you know, you don't gotta lie but just exaggerate. It's like, no, you don't even have to exaggerate, because you literally did all that stuff. Like, I got to work with caseloads of 50 or 60 kids at one time. So, you know, I had to create lesson plans. Like, I was getting really good hands-on experience. I was able to make a good living for myself. So all of those things are just very beneficial. Like I said, don't be afraid to move. If you get a really good contract and it's all the way in Idaho, trust me, I lived on the border. I was 5 minutes from Idaho. So like, don't be like afraid if you're like, oh my god, I don't want to live there, like I'm so scared. Like, just go for it. Like I said, it's an amazing experience. I'm happy I got to have that experience for these past 2 years working as a contractor. Currently I am back at home, but it's nothing bad happened. I just decided to come back home, focus on trying to get into school. I don't plan on taking another contract at the moment, but I would definitely say like I enjoyed it. I don't regret moving or taking any of the contracts.